Hey guys, happy Friday. Doug here with video number 13. Yes, I'm going to call this video number 13. Here myself upholding my commitment to post something of value, teach something of value every Friday here on my Facebook page. So thanks for checking in. If you've been paying attention, I did a video last week. I went live for the first time, just 2 minutes, because I really only wanted to do a couple minutes, but I was short of time. But today I wanted to take a little bit extra time and really do a real video on the Energy Snowball. And that's what I talked about last week. So I'm gonna count last week, but I'm gonna count this one as well, even though it's a little bit of a redo. Video 13, the Energy Snowball. Before we get into it, I just wanna ask you a couple questions. The first is, how do you feel? You know, have you been doing the things that we've been talking about? Stacking up goodness, subtracting negativities, paying attention to your diet, paying attention to sources and uses of energy, paying attention to your hydration, things like that. If you have, my bet is that you're starting to feel a little bit better. And if you're already doing those things and you started to dial them in, many of you have, you've told me in private that you've been fine-tuning, getting back to eating right for your type, paying attention to sleep, doing things like that. I have a feeling that you're feeling a little bit better. But now I want to ask you a couple questions because it's really time to level up, okay? I really want you to dig down and I want to start challenging you guys a little bit to really apply yourselves and really take hold of this information so that you can start putting real goodness in the bank and having things move your way, your direction, each day, every day, all day, okay? Sound good? All right, so today we're talking about the Energy Snowball. I talked about it for 2 minutes last week, and basically it's the concept of an energy snowball. Do you know what an energy snowball is? You know, we've all heard of, those as a snowball travels downhill, it gathers up more snow, it gets bigger and bigger and more momentum. And this is actually a real thing. You know, you can go to Wikipedia, of all places, and find that a snow roller, I'm calling it a snowball, you know, but a snow roller or a wind roller is a real thing. And it's rare, but it is a natural phenomenon. It can occur when the temperature is a certain criteria, the consistency of the snow and the wetness meets a certain criteria, there's a hill involved, and wind is going at a certain rate, and then of course gravity can pull all this together and start building, you know, a snowball of momentum, which is energy. And I want you to start thinking of yourself and your system as working the same way, especially when it comes to your energy, okay? Just like the snow roller, just like the energy snowball, conditions have to be right, okay? Just like the snow, the temperature, all those things I mentioned have to be in certain alignment to get going. That's how you are, right? We've talked about systems, we've talked about alignment, we've talked about coherence, we've talked about all those things and how they work. So for you to feel energized, for you to feel fully alive, for you to be pulled through the day instead of being pushed through the day, your conditions have to be right, okay? You need to create momentum. You need to create an energy snowball within yourself, okay? So I've talked about this before. I really recommend getting at least 3 practices that you can do very easily without thinking about it and without interruption first thing in the day that are gonna create these momentums, that's gonna create the environment for you to access full energy, but also that will propel you throughout the day, your activities, so that you show up in a better state, happier, fully alive, passionate, committed, you know, brave, self-confident instead of fearful, reluctant, irritable, all the things that I've been, you know, in my youth, okay? So that's what we're looking for. For me, it's very simple. I really believe that you have to start your day with it. Go from bed to creating an energy momentum first thing in the morning, even if you have to wake up in the 5 o'clock hour, like I do, okay, before my kids get awake. Right? You can't get into activity and get into the day and then at noon when you're already depleted think it's time for me to create my momentum or put my energy in the bank. You got to do it right when you roll out of bed, okay? And get those vibrations moving in you before anything else gets a hold of you, before the news, your family, your work, your Facebook page, your tasks for the day. You got to put yourself in the right state of mind, the right state of heart, and the right physical place to be ready to take on the day. Okay, enough preaching. Let me give you some examples. Here's what I do. Right when I wake up, for me, my energy snowball is reading something that I'm very curious about. Okay, for a number of years, I've been very curious about my relationship to God, His consciousness, how it all works. And so I put my mind in that place and I read books, not the Bible. I'm not talking about religion necessarily, but about my spirituality and my connection to the divine and what that really is and how it all works for all of us. So I read on that. You know, when I started, it was just a few minutes of books that I could find. Now I'm up to about half hour a day at least. I at least get a half hour a day. When I'm done with that, then I meditate. Okay, it started out with just a few minutes. I just ponder on it. You know, those energies, those things, the dust that I've been kicking up in my mind, I let it settle and I breathe on it. You know, just like a wine, you open it up and then you let it breathe so that it gets better. But I meditate. And so if I'm reading and putting my mind in a place where I'm curious and where I'm opening my consciousness, and then I can meditate on that and feel good about it, there's energy there that I'm harnessing. Okay, not creating. I keep saying creating, but remember, I know that you don't create energy. You either harness it, you gather it, you expend it, you gather it, you expend it. It's abundant. You don't have to create it. It's around us all the time. Air around us can create energy or is energy. We access it, okay? So the third thing that I do after I do those two things, and it usually doesn't come right after, but sometime in the morning, usually after I drop my kids off and I'm making their lunches and get them all off to school, I do a physically challenging workout. That's what I'm about to do today. That's why I'm out on my deck, my backyard. I love nature. It gets my body moving. It gets even more oxygen in my body. And if I do those three things, stimulate my mind, meditate and stimulate my emotions, really get them in a calm, peaceful, great place, and then do a physically challenging workout, I've got tremendous momentum. That's my energy snowball. I can usually come at my day, my tasks, whether I'm excited about them or not, from a more authentic place, okay? And I perform better, and I feel better. And it's not like I'm looking for energy throughout the day. I've accessed it, I've harnessed it, and then I can use it throughout the day. And if I feel depleted at some point in the afternoon or in the evening, I know what I can do. There's other little periods of micro recovery, little things, other practices that I can do to help reharness the energy. Meditate again, just lay down and rest. Maybe it is eating something that I need, or maybe it's taking a walk and getting up from my desk and getting more air into my body. You know, the other things, the other practices that we've talked about, okay? But it's so important to start with the snowball, okay? First thing in the morning, kiss your wife, kiss your husband, do whatever you need to do for your relationships, but before you get into your day, before you get into activity, do something for you. Okay, I shared mine. Your job now is to go figure out what yours is. I really recommend, if you don't know where to start, think about something that you're curious about that would make you happy. If you like to paint, or if you like to sing, or if you like to write poetry, if you like to read novels, put yourself in that place where you're feeling good from a creative standpoint. I like to create consciousness, new ideas, you know, new expansions, new relationships to the divine. That's me, okay? But for you, it could be that or something else. Put yourself in a place where you're creating and you're opening yourself up with a positive emotion. Care, gratitude, appreciation, admiration, where you're actively doing something. And then ponder on it. Do that for a few minutes each day and tell me that you don't feel good and that you're not remembering that throughout your day and that's not really, you know, energizing you a bit. I guarantee you that it will. This stuff works. Don't overlook it, all right? This is good stuff, people, so try it. All right.